Hello there.
Hey, Legion.
Been a little while. See
Were-
things a little bit here.
yeah, I was gonna say, were you surprised?
No,
No, no one's surprised.
even remotely.
Yep. So, going into this, I was saying this is going to be very difficult to do because Micaiahs inherently have been doing the same thing over and over again. You can question. Some of them do some things a bit better than others, but inherently they kill armors, they kill caps. And this time was no different. But the question is, like, how much better can she do everything? And I feel like they got like a decent medium here where they put together virtually everything that Micaiahs can do in a way. Like it's you know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of Brave Marth, where you got like the essence of all the Marths put together. Not literally everything, but you got the essence of what makes Marth super good, and you put it together and added some stuff on top of it.
And did things that most people are going to forget, like having Desperation where Marth has Vantage, and nobody's going to care about that.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things that really gets me when people talk about Marth is just like, aren't you forgetting a few effects? Ugh.
It's going to be the same thing here. Nobody's going to remember that she has Desperation because it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
So,
uh-huh.
It's a good effect, though.
It is a good effect. I'm going to say, like, I do think she's, again, inherently Micaiah's meant to kill armored and cav foes, and anybody who's, like, dealt with Micaiah knows that. But when we're talking about just inherent things, base Micaiah is really friggin' good at these things, and a lot of people already have her built and already have a lot of merges on her. Now, I'm pretty sure this Micaiah is meant for, like, scoring, more predominantly scoring. Like, you're not plus 10ing her because you need another armor and cav killer. You're plus 10ing her because you need a scoring hero, or you get a copy because you just, you know, like Micaiah.
Yeah. Or if you're looking for Colorless specifically.
Right. Also, yeah, the colors on this banner is really hard to skip. I can't believe they gave her a Ashera as well, which is fitting, but Paul Edelgard, come on.
Yeah, this. Yeah, it's looking a little ridiculous.
That's the definition of stacking the deck, man.
Yep. Probably one of the strongest colorless we've ever had, to say the very least.
Yep. Alright. But yeah, in terms of her kit, we'll go over, I guess. But, oh man, going into this is just a hard sell. Are you going to pull really quickly?
I have to get a Ashera because my Brave Hector needs that red stat. So, yes.
I'm gonna try and spare some orbs just to snipe for Colorless. Which, by the way, the entire rest of the banner, it really feels like they just put it all into Colorless. Yeah.
I mean, it's also literally just the Fallen banner, which any Fallen hero is great. But, I mean, I don't know. It really is just Colorless that has the most consistency, followed by red.
Yeah, I don't think, well, wow, I'm surprised you said red. I don't think, because some people don't value Sothis. I have it pretty much all even. I don't really see one over another, to be honest, but I guess you really value Lilina then.
Yeah, it really is just, I guess, valuing Lilina, and if I'm being totally honest, I didn't even really look too hard at this selection, but, I mean, blue, Farina is kind of fringe, Naga, nobody cares.
Yeah,
and Ingrid.
I agree. I think all the banners are just like, they're just really pedestrian to average, I would say. Like, they're not bad, but you can't really say, like, it's a recommend. Like, a pure recommend.
Yeah, pretty much. No exceptions here. Like, outside of Colorless, there's some... And even in Colorless, you can argue the needs.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Alright, let's start. New Dawn. Inflict against armor and CAFOs as expected. It's so fun. You know, also need to get your opinion on that. Are you happy with them, the downmines now giving us like the assets for the the legendaries and mythics?
That was probably not intentional on IS's part.
Okay. Yeah, because
probably did that by accident.
Yeah, because this time around, the tome having Dane's symbol on it just made it impossible not to guess Micaiah.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, it was hard. So, yeah, we already knew what we were expecting. Anyways, armor and cav effectiveness, attack +3 if unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack bonus +6 during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. That is basically base Micaiah's weapon refined. without the damage reduction effect. But it gets Desperation too, essentially. So
pretty much. Attack +3 instead of res +3, one more attack and res. And of course, the follow-up condition is much easier.
Yep. So it's very similar, but again, that's what I expected from her. If they're gonna make another Micaiah, it basically has to do all the Micaiah stuff, but better. And yeah.
I mean, yeah, it really is, again, just the culmination of what Micaiah has done previously.
Yep. Alright, Maiden Solace converts penalties on target into bonuses and then neutralizes any penalty that remains.
You also skipping the desperation part?
What? No, I just said it. She has desperation too.
Right. Sorry, my bad. My mind is skipping the desperation part. Which, that part's just gonna... It's not gonna get much use, to be totally honest, unless you use Maiden Solace.
Right. So I understand the entire build. Maiden Solace is basically sacrifice. Yeah. And then penalties on target into bonuses and neutralize any penalty that remains. Restores HP to target equals units current HP -1. Reduces units HP by amount restored. So that's supposed to take away her own HP and transfer it over to her allies while getting rid of penalties. And combined with Fury 4, you can set her up to get under 50% HP pretty easily. It's not like her base HP is going to be good. Is good anyways. So...
Not really.
Yeah, so you can either fight yourself into Desperation 2, or use Fury 4 and Maiden Solace to get yourself into Desperation percentage. So it's not hard to get into New Dawn, and to be honest, it's pretty clear what they were trying to do here. Yet another Edelgard killer, which is funny because she's with Edelgard.
Yeah, the irony there. Yeah, as long as she gets the double, Edelgard's toast.
Yep. All right, so you put
Harsh Command Plus. I like that it's better than Sacrifice, because if they just slapped on Sacrifice again, that would have been depressing.
Yeah,
but
it would.
Does, I guess, beg the question: will it promote off Sacrifice and have more SP?
Yeah, that's the one thing people point out to me. If it's Sacrifice, it's 400 SP, but if it's anything higher, if it's a promotion, then it's 500 SP, which would make her like the highest scoring unit in the game.
Yep. So. And Mage, who still has 171 BST, by the way.
Yeah, you guys gotta realize, because she has a perf B slot, and then absolute max scoring A and C slot, and also a 500 SP assist skill, and you might be like, well, her BST is low. Nope, it doesn't matter, because she's a Legend Hero, so she has a new scoring, and if it's 185, I don't know, like, this is just absurd how highly she can score. This...
Yep, and
honestly
you only
feels...
need to slap on Ether or Ruptured.
Yeah, you just have to slap on a proper special skill. Honestly feels like this is whale bait.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It literally, if I'm being totally honest, this is totally just the whale bait banner. There's no Sigurd, but you have Fallen Edelgard, and you have Legendary Lilina. One of the best units in the game, and one of the other best Legendary heroes in the game. Those two alone could sell a banner.
Yep.
Let alone Micaiah.
Yep. Also, it does feel a bit weird to have another colorless tone Micaiah, considering the first colorless tone Micaiah is still amazing. It's not like she's, which is also funny because you're not even power. Well, I guess that's the point. You can't power creep a dual Micaiah, but yeah.
No, dual Micaiah is probably the worst Micaiah combat-wise, and I say this in spite of the fact that we have a dancer one because Hardy Bearing is so good, but support is unmatched. This one definitely takes combat more seriously, but where Bride Micaiah's support is so broken, makes up, despite Duo's hindrance.
Yep. Okay. Anyways, Pre-Science. The new key, thank you for the raid. Welcome. Pre-Science is attack res -5 on foe during combat. If unit shoots combat or if foe's range equals 2, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 30%. It's basically Micaiah's weapon. Base Micaiah's weapon. The base effect. It's just a base effect, right? But better, because it's now like guaranteed all range 2.
Banner is November. Have you checked the roster for that? Red will have Plumeria and Sigurd. Colorless
oh,
will
okay,
have
that's the real banner.
Karin,
Bait right
and
there.
Bammy Monk. Dagger and Nod will also be there.
I'm not so sure because the colorless heroes are here are just so ridiculous. Mitsu, Hachimitsu. Yeah. Hachimitsu, thank you for following. Yeah, go ahead.
Some whales like entire banners.
Right. But oh man, it's still hard to say no because one Legend Micaiah for most people is really good.
Sorry that I'm just woke up.
I'm absolutely gonna go in for Micaiah. Even if I get Micaiah, I wouldn't be disappointed, just to preface that. But Prescience, Pre-Science, I don't actually know how to pronounce it. You might as well just say that that's hallowed Tierfing on a B slot in a certain way, because it's the same condition as Sigurd.
Yeah, you're right.
It's the same. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. But I also like that it inflicts the attack penalty instead of attack rest +5. You know,
right.
Like a New Dawn.
Yeah. This helps a lot because her defense is likely to be very low. And because of Fury 4. And give her the best possible chance of taking a hit. So, that's nice.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, she has right around 18 defense.
Oh boy, that's not going to be good.
Well, here's the thing though. She has 171 BST, so BST's got to go somewhere.
She's going to hit really hard.
She's going to have a speed stat, is what I'm saying.
Oh wait, you actually think she's going to...
She has to.
Okay, like, I guess that's how you make her different from the other Micaiahs. You give her some speed.
Like, put it this way. She only has 38 HP and 18 defense. And I calculated she has right around 42 attack. So if we were to assume that she has like 40 res, for example, that would... bad calculator. That would put her only to 138 BST. So that would put her up to around 33 speed. 34. So you could actually kind of make an argument to use her for her speed stat in a max invested build. It's not a lot. It's not like Brave Marianne, but it definitely has potential.
I mean, all I wanted from her was enough speed to double a Fallen Edelgard guaranteed, so that the new Dawn can work properly. That's all I was asking for, which wasn't much, to be honest. But yeah, that's usable. Yeah,
it'll have a place. Like, it'll probably be like sort of a Crom situation where you could just invest in speed and kind of, you know, have more guaranteed coverage of the meta, which is interesting.
All right, there's also Joint Distant Guard, which, I mean, this was going to happen eventually. They seem to want to make all these skills into joints. So instead of just defense rest +4 for allies, it's defense rest +4 to yourself as well. And I really like that because you generally, like, when it comes to like joint drive res or joint drive defense, you generally only need that for like up close or at far. You don't need it for both usually. Predominantly, you want to focus on one thing, and this would be much more useful for most heroes. So that's actually a really valuable C slot. Not just because it scores well, but because it's just a lot of stats for free.
Oh yeah. I mean, put it this way, Ether Raids is predominantly range tanking these days. So Joint Distant Guard is almost as free Def Res +4 for the majority of tanks. Like, if you're using a Mono Savior with a ranged unit as your lead, for example, Guinevere, I know is a popular unit, or Micaiah, you could just run Joint Distant Guard. First of all, if your allies have to get hit by ranged attacks, they're a little better off, but you are also just, instead of having Joint Drive Res, getting an objectively superior 4 defense.
Yep.
Which is great. It doesn't give more stats, though, so you wouldn't use this on a support unit if you have the option.
Right.
That's the only thing.
Alright. So unfortunately, I don't know. I'll be honest with you guys, if I don't get Micaiah, I'm not going to feel bad.
Yeah,
but if I get yeah. I have every other Micaiah, so it's not even like I'm a fan of hers. I'm really not, which is the funny part. But yeah, if I get her, okay. If I don't get her, okay. It's fine with me. Yeah, I'm more interested in Ashera and Edelgard personally.
Likewise. At least I want to get Ashera. Like, put it this way, Brave Micaiah's Refine is most likely in a week. So even if this Micaiah is not your fancy, we're literally getting another one. We might as well just be getting a whole new Micaiah, because Brave Micaiah's Refine will probably change it fundamentally.
Yep.
So, no pressure, to say the very least. Unless you're a whale that wants to be at the top scoring of Arena, because realistically, she might even be better than Sigurd in scoring.
Yep, that's the only thing. Alright, so the other weird question in the room. How many of you guys actually have orbs?
It's not even just that. How many of you are actually going to use those orbs? Because based on initial impressions, I have not seen many people that are going there.
Yeah, I feel like, to be honest, chat, this was really hard for them. Because which hero from half a Radiance Radiant Dawn could they rely on at this point? They can't do another Ike. There's literally legendary Ike, okay? So they can't do that. Like, what were they gonna do from the series? Like, they had to basically go for Micaiah, and the other part was like there was already cipher art of this Micaiah anyways, so this is something that they had to do. But again, like it was just so hard. Huh?
We all knew this was coming.
Yeah. So this was really hard to do right.
If anything, it's surprising that she came out so late and kind of helped her out be a little bit better than the other Micaiahs coming out so much later.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing is, Micaiah is probably the single most typecasted unit in the entire game. Like,
yeah.
I know, like, Lyn, for example, is supposed to be fast, but even then, she at least tries to take a slightly different approach between her ults. Micaiah is the high attack, high res, mediocre, sometimes low speed mage who always has dual effective every single time.
Yeah.
And then is pretty much designed for mage tanking.
Yeah.
And nuking to the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Some Micaiahs do it better than others, but every Micaiah does it the exact same way.
You know what I gotta say to that?
Very consistent. What?
This is probably my favorite instance of power creep yet, because she does in fact power creep the majority of Micaiahs very easily. Yep. But you don't even feel bad about it.
Nope.
That's the funniest thing, man.
I mean, put it this way. She is definitely much better than base Micaiah, but it's not to the point where it's justifiable for some people to have to use a unit that has legendary reliance, so you can't use her in every season, and B, having to go into mythic banners and legendary banners to pull her when base Micaiah is in the 4-star special rate.
Yeah, so that's the other part.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I've seen a lot of people like plus 10 Micaiahs, base Micaiahs. So this one really offers you nothing. If you have unless you like really merge her up. Because the base Micaiah, I'll tell you, is much more than just serviceable. Sigma Sensei was like absolutely obsessing over this fact. She doesn't have Nullsea Disrupt.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too.
If she did, she would be like S tier easily. I mean, I already think she's really highly tiered, but especially in Colorless tomes.
Yeah.
Name me 10 better Colorless tomes than her. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to say that. Well, it's almost impossible not to be an S tier Callisto. They don't have competition.
Zane's just as good or bad as her.
Well, the skills is what makes the difference. But yeah, guys, if she had Nullsea Disrupt, that would be like truly power creep. But because she doesn't. But here's the thing. You can just give her Nullsea Disrupt. It's not the end of the world to lose attack res -5, 30% damage reduction. She will kill mages just as easily. The 30% damage reduction is more about killing archers, which she now has to fear if she loses pre-science.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, aside from fire sweep archers, it's not like it's a big deal if you can't counter, because you can just run Mystic Boost, which is probably going to be one of the most common steals when run. So you don't even have to really worry about healers, since they're halved in attack and also dealing with the damage reduction.
So yeah.
But nah, I think this Micaiah is just really, if you have her, use her. But if you have base Micaiah, refined, preferably resplendent, decent merge, you're not really missing too much.
Yep.
And if you have Brave Micaiah, who has roughly the same speed, most likely, you probably won't be missing much either once you get to refined.
Yep. Now, what we're talking about right now is the average use case. If you're a whale, you go do your thing. Make sure this game survives as long as possible. Thank you very much for supporting Fire Emblem Heroes and IS and Nintendo. Keep up the good work. But
yeah,
for everybody else, you guys get the point.
Yeah. Like, I would definitely say she's no Sigurd, and probably no Claude, but she's still one of the best legendary heroes, just by default. Boring, but definitely up there for the best.
Yeah.
And probably not as common as Sigurd, but I expect to see a good amount of her going forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, with that said, yeah, I think I'll poll just because I want Ashera, which is funny, because I actually value Ashera and Edelgard more than I value Micaiah. No offense to Micaiah fans, it's just Edelgard's possibly the best unit, and Ashera's a really good mythic.
I meant to say that yeah, you can just replace her B slot for NCD or in a few.
Yeah.
Just kind of feels bad that makes it so she doesn't get her intended Thorny set she comes with.
Desperation with the damage reduction, it might have gone off a little better, if anything. Though I suppose this is to encourage the use for B slot more.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I do want to mention this to you guys. Now, people give IS flack all the time. When they make a character really, really good, everyone gets upset at IS for power creeping. When they make a character that is just as expected, or just slightly better than the past, everyone says it's boring. In both cases,
bad, they complain they're bad.
Right. And when they're bad, literally the worst case scenario, what I'm trying to point out is there's no making people happy. Finding that really good middle ground is nearly impossible. Whatever they do is just going to piss people off.
Somebody's always like, Sigurd is amazing, and I'm sure for the people who love Sigurd and know he's broken and whatnot, cool. Everybody else is complaining constantly because it's Sigurd. Micaiah, very boring, clean, solid unit. For the people who actually want her, this is just a really good Micaiah. Really functional, can definitely do a lot. And for Wales, this is just a great merge project. For everybody else, it's either the same old, if not possibly worse in some cases. And it's like, well, what? Well, IS, why couldn't you make her better?
You know, this is reminding me a lot about our last legendary, or sorry, last mythic hero, Uller. I honestly, it felt like she was here for one day and then she got deleted in the game because nobody talked about her again.
Though I do see a lot of people use her.
Well, I've seen more than a few people try and use her, and the problems we mentioned are the reasons why she kept dying.
Well, see, here's the funny thing. If you use her in a savior comp especially, she's actually amazing cleanup. I love using Uller.
Oh yeah, now, if you have no savior, she's absolutely worthless though.
Yeah, pretty much. Or Gatekeeper. But I'll just say, short thing is, I dissed Uller a little bit, not gonna lie, but after actually getting her on the last day of our banner and using her, she has actually single-handedly fixed my light season problems. So,
oh, really? I'm surprised by that.
I use Gustav and Henriette.
Wait a second. Oh, but then you don't have Dagger.
Shush.
I was thinking to myself, like, wait a second, if you had Dagger, she wouldn't fix much of anything.
Dagger doesn't have range. That's the huge part. But, yeah, I don't have Dagger. Rub it in.
Alright.
Realistically, the way I see it, a unit's always going to have their place. There are going to be people like them, people that don't. I just look at it the way I look at it. People can look at it how they do. Whatever they offer, I'm going to look at it objectively in that regard for their potential. But beyond that, it's up to you to interpret how you like the unit or not.
I agree. All right. So overall, solid banner, but timing's not the greatest. Timing's not the greatest. Oh, the rest of the banner is not the greatest. Micaiah is not the greatest. But the Colorless is among the greatest to go for. So, yeah, if you value the other two heroes a lot, then I can recommend the banner. If you don't value the other two heroes a lot, then I'm going to be honest with you guys. I still think Hero Fest is amazing, and I still think the Brave banner, I mean, especially if you didn't get a spark. If you didn't spark, I don't know what you're doing. But at least try to do the first spark, yeah.
And I mean, the Pirate banner is going to be around still. We have Pirate Banner, Brave Banner, double special heroes. Don't forget about that. Plus, we have a new seasonal banner coming out in like a week. So there's
oh crap! We didn't even mention it. Double special heroes banner's crazy.
Yeah, double special heroes, red. Absolutely packed. So there's a lot going around right now, and Colorless is amazing here. But I mean, just sitting down with this, everything else is okay. I mean, if you had to tier the other three colors, how would it be? Because, you know, people...
If I had to, man, it's... Every one of the colors has, like, a hero that's meh or, like, not a difference maker. So, I would have colors first and green last. Not that I really want to do it that way. It's just for most people, I don't think they're gonna understand or realize potential of Fallen Edelgard. Sorry, not Fallen Edelgard, Brave Edelgard. Which, well, wait a second. Legendary
Edelgard.
Wait a second, they have both Edelgards here. Okay, sure.
Yeah, they both have.
Legendary Edelgard, by the way, if anyone has ever played Roker Sieges, you would automatically recognize how absurd she's for that mode. Or Legion's battles.
In that mode.
Yeah.
Put it this way, I use Legendary Edelgard and can turn 2 some Rookers.
Yeah.
Effortlessly. So.
Right.
By the way, I love these Rooker Sieges. But Legendary Edelgard is a different beast from Fallen. Not as good, but has her own unique playstyle.
Her niche is absolutely dominant, though.
Yep.
When you can use her, and when you can use her, especially when it's like cases where there's nobody else who does what she does, essentially. So, yeah, I still super value her, but I put her at last place because I feel like most people, in fact, will not be doing any of those things, so it won't matter to them. Likewise, I've only ever been beaten by Legendary Edelgard in Ether Raids one time, but it looks so friggin' sick. She just bopped the shit out of me. It was so good. But again, like, I don't see most people fulfilling her potential, but I think she's still really, really good. Thrasir, I still think, is a really good green mage. Morgan, if not good dive bomb fodder, is still just the definition of like a ridiculously good flying tank. So
yeah,
I don't even think
epitomizes green axe flyers, and Menace, of course, is one of the best skills in the game right now.
Yeah, so S tier fodder and just a S tier flyer. But yeah, that's why I don't want to put green in last. But most people are going to disagree with me on Edelgard, so fine.
It's mostly, if anything, Thrasir for me is just kind of, first of all, a lot of people have her at this point because she's been around for so long, but she's also not as oppressive a threat as she used to be.
Agreed.
And can oftentimes actually just be a non-threat.
Honestly, nowadays, if I see a Thrasir, I'm just like, well, I'm going to take this. I don't care anymore.
Yep.
It's not that scary.
I use Brave Hector, and she's not a big threat to him. So, realistically, that's probably the least of our worries. And as a result, I would put it last as well, yeah.
Okay, well, the problem with the Brave Hector example is, like, you could say that for almost everybody.
Yeah, but Brave Hector's supposed to be triangle disadvantage, and yet it's a consistent matchup.
Okay, fair enough. Likewise, I can't put blue poorly because Farina's there, and I think when you develop a Farina, you'll realize how good she is. She's not absurd, but she's really fun to play. If you give her the Dragon Flowers, she's just... And she's good fodder, by the way. She's really good fodder.
Oh, yeah. Amazing fodder. Catch is really nice. And yeah, she's a rain in the week.
Yeah. We still have among the best Cav heroes in the entire game. I know Brave Erica's out and everyone will debate this, but there are a lot of instances where Ingrid is still possibly the better Cav hero. Just don't worry about counterattacks. Huh?
I'll absolutely agree.
Yep.
She's the much better defense unit because of safety plus trace. If you get it, you can easily just hit and run.
Yep.
No punishment, particularly in defense maps, which can really set up your allies thereafter.
Yeah.
Just a very safe, surprisingly solid damage thanks to true damage Lance Cav.
Yeah.
And while Erica is absolutely broken, she can also get one shot.
All right, and then when it comes to Naga, it's the same thing with Thrasir. If you wanted her, you probably have her. Not the scariest unit to deal with, but still has some. I mean, plus res is always nice to have, but still a nice hero to have. Oh, crap! It's defense. My bad.
Yeah, not as useful.
Yeah, whatever. It's still nice to have one Naga, I think, because you do fight dragons occasionally, and you're like, well, I don't know how to solve these dragons, especially against like Saros. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then red. Yeah. So if I had to rank it, it's probably colorless, red, blue, and green. But honestly, it's if I had to rate it, it would be like 7.5 to 8 on all of them. If you know what I mean. It's like it's such a small margin of difference. Yeah.
Colorless, I'd say it's a pretty marked improvement over the other three. Thank you, Edelgard.
Right. No, I think colorless is a 10 out of 10. I really can't think of anything. If you ask me, like, give me 3 better colorless heroes without going with the heroes you have here, it's not possible.
No.
Yeah, it's not possible.
I mean, yeah, Ashera and Micaiah may not be top tier colorless units, but Ashera is still really good. Micaiah is still really good. And I don't think I need to say anything about Edelgard.
Yeah.
Nope.
So, Yeah, that's your banner. It's a really, I don't know. It's really strong in certain areas, and it's so weird. It's not the, it's just this banner has so many highs and so many lows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it literally has two of the worst mythics in Sothis and Naga. Sorry, and one of the upper mid tiers in Thrasir, just holding this banner back. Like, if it weren't for them, this banner would be otherwise very consistent. But I think it's all right from the respect that some people want to skip. They need an excuse to skip so they can summon other banners.
You wait until Sothis gets her refined 4 years from now, and then you'll take that back.
Maybe. I don't even. Till that day comes, if I see another one of her, she may or may not be times pull spotter. I'll just put it that way.
All right, guys, but yeah, that's the banner. I don't know if we have a pull. If we do, we'll go over that. Will you pull on a legendary hero banner? I don't know. By the way, I don't know what setting you changed, Frenzy, but yeah, now everyone's emails are up top. That's something that got mentioned to me before. But yeah, obviously I forgot to check this time. Will you pull on the legendary Micaiah hero banner? Yes, I'm going to try pulling for all of them on the banner. No, I'm saving my orbs on another banner. Yes, I'm going to pull for Colorless. Yes, I'm going to pull for red. Yes, I'm going to pull for blue. Yes, I'm going to pull for green. And why is Frenzy on this poll? I mean, he told us he fell asleep. I'm just going to vote for this. Actually, no, I'll play it seriously. I'll vote for Colorless. And 30 responses with 40% of you guys straight up saving your orbs. 30% going for Colorless. 20% indicating why is Frenzy late. And the rest, nobody really cares about. This surprises me, not at all. Yeah, honestly, most people don't care about the banner. So I'm sorry, Micaiah. It's like I can say
30% for Colorless is solid enough.
Yeah, if you go for the banner, just go for Colorless. And unfortunately, there's not much more to it.
Yep.
As a whole, anyways. But yeah, that's that.